Some university students have turned to cheating to pass their degrees, but it's come at a cost. Lecturers at both Auckland and Victoria universities have discovered online freelancers are being used to write student assignments. But the cheating has also come with an unlikely consequence, a blackmailing scam. Victoria University software engineering lecturer Simon McCallum joins us this morning for more on this. Thanks very much, Simon. First of all, how many of these cheating sites are out there, these freelancers writing assignments?
So there's both the freelancers writing assignments, but these freelancers are also doing 3D modelling work. They're doing standard commercial freelancing. It's just that the students can find those normal sites, and instead of asking for, an extra model to be added to a game they're developing, they're asking for an assignment to be done. So there are also cheating websites, but there are standard contractor websites that the students are also using.
And where are they based? Are they here in New Zealand or are they all over?
Well, it depends on the website. So there are some cheating websites who recruit local students, potentially more senior students, to write the assignments for the earlier students, so they've done the course before. So some of them recruit local New Zealanders to actually do the cheating. Where others, there's a group who are in Eastern Europe. There are some in Africa and India and the US. So they're all over the world. And yeah, some will recruit locals. Some will just kind of know the subject area and use that to do the assignment.
Do you have any idea how many New Zealand students are writing assignments or doing projects for others that are doing this freelance cheating?
So we don't have good numbers on that because, our senior students aren't going to tell us that they're actively involved in cheating. Because as a student who is helping someone else cheat, you also suffer consequences. It is very much a black market. There was some Australian research looking at about 10% of Australian students using contracting cheating. But, it's not the only problem we have. It's also AI is starting to be used heavily as well. I was talking to a year 11 student at Armageddon on Sunday, and she was saying that, yes, many of her friends at high school were using the AIs to help them write assignments rather than contract cheating. Now, they're using the tools and the computer, which is also incredibly hard to detect, but, comes without the blackmail scam, which is horrific for students.
Yes, so tell us about this blackmail scam. How did you become aware that some students were being blackmailed?
Well, so what happens is, as a university, we've been told, and there's been some reports recently about cheating at university, and so and we've asked to become stricter. And what the first we see is that a contracting site or a cheating site will send us documentation of the request to create an assignment. And they have that request and they show the assignment they wrote and they have all of the documentary evidence and they'll send it to us. And for example, with one of our cases, they send it to us saying, the student didn't pay and that's why I'm telling you. Now, we've also discovered from, going through these processes that some of the students have been being blackmailed. So they send the assignment comes back, they put it into the system, they get graded. We might be a bit suspicious because, that student's producing much better work than we would expect them to do. And then we get this email. Now, when we talk to the student, they're very stressed because they were being blackmailed. They'd paid and then they're asked to pay again and then pay again. And it's only when they stop paying that we as a university get notified of this. Now,
so
for
it's not just the students who haven't paid, it's students who have paid and then they're extracting more money. How much money are we talking about? How much does it cost for, say, one assignment?
Oh, well, you can get an assignment for, $20 to $60, right? So, relatively small amounts of money. And that's why it's quite tempting for a student who's very stressed, who's got, thousands of dollars on the line to graduate, and they have to, they're at high stress to get it done. $60 doesn't seem much of a cost. And then, they can ask for $1,000 or $10,000 because if you're on a visa and this is, you've got to pass or you're kicked out of the country, how much money would you spend and how much at risk are you?
So what are the consequences for students once the university finds out?
Well, I mean, when we've been told to be very strict and to make sure that you know, our qualifications are meaningful, then we can do everything from, you know, failing you on that assignment through to failing you on the course, or even removing your degree. If you'd used that course to pass a degree and we now found you've cheated in that course, you could lose your degree. And if your job was based on your degree, you could lose your job. So, you know, the consequences can be massive.
I guess the issue for universities too, though, Simon, is once you hand out those consequences, you're effectively doing what the blackmailers want you to do too, right? Which is penalise the students so that they can continue to blackmail.
Exactly. I mean, and you know, we become sort of almost part of the scheme, that we're the enforcement arm of the threat. And so as a university, we need to get students to talk to the student unions, to realise that we're not here to punish students. We do actually want to help students. And if they are caught in a blackmail scheme, then they need to be talking to people to try and get them out of that, because it won't end. There isn't a, you know, honour among thieves. It will be ongoing, and the consequences are enormous. So we need to wrap around those students.
Sounds terrifying and sad for many of the people who are involved in that. Thank you very much for bringing it to our attention. Victoria University software engineering lecturer Simon McCallum. Thanks very much, Simon.